Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you a pure 12 life domain cleric build guide in Baldur's Gate 3. Now this is a lot of people's first cleric subclass because it's straightforward, a healer focused subclass, which we'll be focusing on here in this video. Now with this we'll be taking for cantrips. I like to have, I guess, Sacred Flame is an alright choice there. It's a dex save so it doesn't land often. Produce Flame can be good too, but Resistance and Guidance are two of the buffing spells. So we're going to go with this, giving a 1d4 bonus to saving throws or 1d4 bonus to ability checks. These are both really useful. Use them often. We got ourselves the subclass here, which gives us Cure Wounds and Bless. Now, I'll be honest, the Life Domain Cleric has the worst Life Domain spells, as they're all ones that we basically get anyways. But the subclass features Disciple of Life here, so your devotion empowers your healing spells. So whenever we heal with a healing spell, the target will regain hit points equal to 2 plus the spell's level. So again, there's a flat-out increase to our healing, which is nice. No other subclass can get that feature. Now, I'd recommend for an ability score spread, I like to go with a higher dexterity to go first, but actually on this particular build, it might be better to focus on having a higher constitution. So the best spread would likely be the 14 dexterity, 16 constitution, 16 wisdom, and then we can go with I guess we'll go 10 points in intelligence and charisma. Another thing is we can actually dump our dexterity if we wanted to, but there is a really good Act 1 dexterity-based weapon. Not that we're going to be attacking often, but we do have heavy armor proficiency, so dexterity isn't as important, and that's why we can go higher in the constitution. And at level 2, we got one of the few abilities in the game that actually scales off of our character level, not our subclass level. So with this, it'll give you 3 times your character level. Since we didn't level up yet, it considers this level 1, so it's 3 times the character level. So at level 12, 36 healing. Even if we only took 2 levels of this and took, I guess, 10 levels in like fighter, you're still going to recover 36 health. We also got Turn Undead, which is okay. And prepared spells, I'd recommend grabbing Command. Guiding Bolt is nice for just something that's a little bit more likely to land its attack. Shield of Faith is good for buffing the team up, Sanctuary, and I guess you can go with the Healing Word here as well, so we got all the healing spells. I like Create Water too, just ignore this feat. Level 3 gives us more Life Domain spells with Aid and Lesser Restoration. Again, 2 spells that we can already get access to, but it gives us Hold Person and Spiritual Weapon, which are 2 really good ones, because this now gives us something that can set up our other teammates. With the Maul, it has the ability to daze enemies so that they can land their Wisdom save spells like Command and Hold Person more freely. Or we can land our own Hold Person more freely, which then gives our teammates critical hits. We also do get Prayer of Healing, but this spell is not good at all, so we're not going to take it. You could also take Warding Bond, which is kind of nice, but this will give a target resistance to all damage, 1 bonus to armor class and saving throws, and every time they take damage, we'd take the same damage. What's funny is you can also have Gale use this at camp, and Gale can end up dying, so you can actually protect your teammates really, really well. Level 4 gives us our first feat, and we get access. Should have taken Toll the Dead a little earlier, because that's a good spell, or a good cantrip early game. Wisdom save, so it's more likely to land than Sacred Flame. Now for our next level spell here, we will take Warding Bond. Calm Emotions can also be kind of fun. I guess I took off Healing Words. We'll take Healing Word back. And then for our first feed, Alert for the +5 to initiative is good. Sometimes it's better to have your healer go second so you can heal them back up. It's really your choice. I like to get the alert feed, but personal preference. Warcaster can be another nice spell. It gives you advantage in saving throws to hold concentration, and you can do a reaction, Shocking Grasp. And I also like a increase to the Wisdom stat as well. It's ability score improvement. Never a bad option. Now, once we get to level 5, we get one of our best spells in the game with Spirit Guardians. We also get Revivify, which is great, and Beacon of Hope, which allows us to heal more. But again, 2 spells that we already have access to, so nothing crazy there. I would actually recommend grabbing Mass Healing Word, because at this point, this is pretty much just a full party AoE buff with some specific gear we'll be covering in a later section of this video. I also like to grab Spirit Guardians. That's just really nice for putting on yourself to protect yourself, and also you can deal a lot of damage with it. Someone on your team should always have Spirit Guardians up. Now at level 6, we got our subclass feature Blessed Healers. Healing others will heal you as well. So when you're casting a healing spell level 1 or higher on another creature, you regain health points equal to 2 plus the spell's level. So great. We are now healing ourselves and our teammates. We also get another channel divinity charge. So that's great. We can do that full area of effect heal once again. I'd recommend grabbing Glyph of Warding. If you're a half elf, you can put the sleep glyph at your feet and put everything around you to sleep, and you won't go to sleep. Really nice. We also then get Guardian of Faith, which is great. 60 health. Every time it attacks, it deals 20 damage to itself, but deals 20 damage to the enemy, and it's good to put in doorways. We also get Death Ward there, which will allow you to stand back up if you get back down, which is nice to have. I also like to have freedom of movement. This is a life domain cleric, so being able to stop a target from being stunned, especially a fighter if they're in a position, is probably a good action. This also stops targets from receiving difficult terrain. This is something you're going to buff your team up with before you get into a fight, but you can also use it to stop a target from being stunned. Level 8 gives us our Divine Strike Radiant, which is cool because if we have an offhand crossbow, we can get that extra radiant damage on our offhand crossbow attacks, which is really funny. I guess we'll take Banishment for our next leveled spell, or we can go back. Warding Bond, I should have mentioned that one. Create Water is also pretty nice too if you have a team based around sorceries like that. Level 8 feat, I like Alert at this point. Just going first is really useful. If you don't, you go with an increase to your Wisdom stat. At level 9, we get access to 2 more spells we already have access to, Greater Restoration and Mass Cure Wounds. But now we have access to Flame Strike. I like Insect Plague here because this can create a difficult terrain area which will slow the enemies down. Really useful for protecting your team, so we're going to go with it. Flame Strike kind of sucks, so we're not going to go with that. And Contagion is also kind of cool because you can use it outside of combat. Now we got our Divine Intervention, which we can use to create the Devotee's Mace, which gives us a heal aura for 10 turns, which is kind of a cool focus. You can do that or not, your choice. We'll then take, I guess, Blade Ward here at this level, and for the prepared spells, we'll then add in Flame Strike just for another good choice in damage. Level 11 gives us our choice in spells here. We get level 6 options. Obviously, Claim Our Allies is going to be a great one, and I'd recommend getting rid of Flame Strike and taking Hero's Feast. Now, if you have a caster that's got Cloud Kill, you can have your whole team hang out in it, and this will make your team immune to it, so that's really good. We also got Bladeberry and the heal spell, which makes sense here. Has a unique interaction if you heal the Dark Urge, so I'd encourage you to try that out. Claim Our Allies is just such a really good spell. Level 12, final spell choice. I guess we'll take Heal because it just makes sense on here. Harm's not that great, but we do have a healing, and a summon. There's a lot here, but there's a really cool way because we have 2 staffs that'll give us the free cast for both of these, and then you have your last spell slot for an upcasted version of any of these, or heal. And for the final feat, I would recommend, since we're going to be one that needs to stay alive to keep our team alive, the tough feat is really good, giving us extra 24 health. So, yeah, that's really good. You could also go with the Constitution increase, but I'm going to use the Constitution Amulet for this build. And here's the trick. We're going to take the Staff of Spell Power, which gives you a free cast, which you can then use to give your entire team Hero's Feast, and whoever may be nearby. Great thing about Hero's Feast is it'll sometimes give you a pizza. And then after that, you can take Marka Heshker, which also has a free Arcane Battery casting, and then cast Plan Our Ally. Now, the true healing combo would be the Deva here, which gives the Wrathful Smite, Revivify, and Concussive Smash. It also has a really powerful weapon dealing radiant damage. I'm going to summon in the, I like the Genie. It gives us some pretty good offenses because you can push enemies off of ledges, but the Deva will be the best choice for overall survivability. Now, there is a lot of healing gear and healing set in the game, but I'll be honest, there's not a lot of really good ones, so I'll be using the best of the best, which is one that you can get at the start of the game with the Whispering Promise, adding Bless on heal, which is crazy. And with the Helm of Baldur in here, which heals you every turn, you basically have Bless on yourself indefinitely. Now, this is also paired very well with the Reviving Hands or Hellrider's Pride, which you get at the early game from Zevlor. With this, it'll heal, whenever you heal a creature, they get Blade Ward, taking half physical damage. That's huge. And then also when you revive a creature, they get Death Ward, which will, if they go to 0 health, lets them stand back up again. So this is actually really good, and it also gives you Revivify. This is probably the best in slot here, although I do like the Luminous Gloves too, because I get the Luminous Armor on, which whenever we deal Radiant damage, we cause a Radiant Shockwave. That's pretty huge. I also got the Callous Glow Ring. Whenever we deal damage, we do an additional 2 Radiant damage, which stacks that again. You could also go with the Coruscation Ring there, but I found that this one worked really well too. I also got the Cloak Protection. We want to get our armor class as high as possible for survivability's sake. You can use really whatever cloak. And I guess early game helmet would be the Helm of Haste Helm, as it'll give you more movement speed to stay away. Luminous Armor's Act 1. Again, Hellrider Pride. Evasive Shoes, Boots of Stormy Clamor, your choice there. We got the Whispering Promise, the Callous Glow Ring. And the best staff, in my opinion, is the Staff of Arcane Blessing. The reason being, whenever you cast Bless, you get an additional 1d4 bonus to saving throws, and attack rolls, an additional 2d4 bonus to spell attack rolls. So this can be insanely good because you then can buff up your team with some of the craziest buffs ever. Getting Blessed that's even further blessed is pretty nuts. Shadowheart, stay. So yeah, basically whenever you cast this, you get Mistress Blessing and Bless. So it's a 1d4 bonus to attack rolls and saving throws, and a 1d4 bonus to saving throws and weapon attack rolls, and an additional 2d4 bonus to saving throws. Yeah, it's really good. Highly recommend. But once we get to higher levels, we then want to use our Spirit Guardians as our concentration. Another staff I want to mention is the Morning Frost. This is an Act 1 item. It gives you Ray of Frost, which will scale off of your Wisdom stats. So this can be really good, and it can apply Chilled. So if you're playing with another sorcerer, you can apply Chilled, which makes their cold damage deal double damage. So you become a really good support. I'm going to actually equip the Marka Heshker here just to show a more combat-focused version of this build. Although going with the Mistress Staff is really good. Staff Arcane Blessing. Now, I activated Marka Heshker with the lightning charges, as I found that works really well in conjunction with this build. Our first thing that we want to do when we get into a fight is set up our Spirit Guardians, as this is going to be a good source of damage, protecting our team, and also debuffing the enemy with -2 to their attack rolls with the radiating orbs. So this is my personal preference. I just think this works well. Sometimes you can get easy kills on enemies, especially if you have teammates that have already damaged them. You got Call of Weak active if you're using Illithid abilities. But you can see there's 6 stacks of radiating orbs, and we didn't even make it anywhere near the enemy there. So yeah, that's crazy. They now have 8 stacks of radiating orbs, and we'll just go a little bit closer, taking them out. Unfortunately, I got mine broken, but yeah. Now, the reason the Genie is so good is it gets a level 4 Thunderwave here, which you can be really lucky with sometimes and get easy knockouts there, so that's beautiful. It also gets a Shifting Winds teleport. A lot of people talk about the elementals. They get a teleport, so they can be really good mobily. So they don't have to spend spell slots to move around. They can move around freely. All right, so I'll put Spirit Guardians back on because we pretty much always want to have that active. Don't run into areas you can't run into. But yeah, the thing is, you're a Beyblade. Run around with this. You want to do this because it is debuffing the enemy. So that's applying the 2 radiating orbs. But if you have multiple enemies, you do it in a 3-meter radius. So sometimes you can get really lucky if there's enemies grouped up. And that's how you saw earlier that I was able to get 6 stacks off because whenever they're grouped up, it's actually going to apply to multiple enemies at a time. We do have the Mark of Heshker here, though, so that gives us that Chain Lightning. This is not normally something you get, but it's a very powerful option, and it'll further stack up our radiating orbs as well. Now, one thing is, if you have 2 clerics in your team, you can only get the extra Spirit Guardians damage off once per turn, so you may just want to end your turn and only have 1 character use Spirit Guardians at a time. And we aren't so lucky here with the Genie, but yeah, that's still 25 damage off on that enemy. And they take the damage at the end of their turn. They stayed in the Spirit Guardians there, so they just exploded like confetti. That's the beautiful thing about Spirit Guardians is the enemies don't react to it like other conditions. They'll sometimes just stand there and get affected by it for whatever reason. Now, we also have that Glyph of Warding I mentioned, and this works well if you create water because you can then do a Glyph of Lightning afterwards, which will have double damage after the water. Glyphs are really our only option for damage, and at least you get elemental damage choices. I did mention the Sleep Glyph, which you can drop at your feet, which is really useful because then if you're a half-elf or an elf, you're going to put everyone to sleep. I guess Guiding Bolt is your only other support. This can set up advantage, so if you have a rogue on your team, you can use that to be able to set up advantage for their sneak attacks. But that is the Life Domain Cleric in Baldur's Gate 3. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them below. I try to get back to as many comments as possible, as quickly as possible. And subscribe for more. Hope you have a great day, and we'll catch you in the next one.